Hi everyone, this is Katy Groves, and I'm here to talk about coping with activation. Right now, we are struggling with something that got activated, so we should just give an immediate warning. We just got activated by a song that came on at a grocery store, and have been struggling since then in the last hour or so with feelings of trance and briefly had a compulsion to go meet someone, we don't know exactly who, at a nearby park. So I just want to say right away, we're speaking from the perspective of someone who is still deprogramming themselves and still clearly struggles with accessing to a degree. We just want to make this video and talk about some things that we find helpful in neutralizing activation and preventing reaccessing when stuff like this happens. When that song came on in the store, we immediately felt ourselves go into a trance and want to quote unquote fall asleep. Like we had this urge to just let our head fall and kind of nod like we were on heroin. And I assumed that if that were to have happened, other parts would have come out and taken over. We fought that and it didn't happen. So that was first thing, is we fought the urge to quote unquote go to sleep and switch states. We did that by noticing our surroundings and doing a very quick in the moment grounding exercise where we noticed colors and noticed anything that was triggering us in our physical surroundings in the grocery store. And thankfully the song came on as we were paying, and we were not alone, we were with our partner. So we were able to get out of there really fast and get outside, at which point we started doing more grounding exercises, paying attention to the sun, how it felt on our skin, the brightness, noticing that we had a headache, noticing all sorts of things, sounds, sensations, really getting into the moment. We weren't still yet able to track who was out, who was switching in the body, but we were able to get more in touch with the present moment and kind of connect to each other. So these are all things that I find really helpful. I've trained myself to do this stuff immediately. The moment I see something like this happening in my system, I'm now on top of it. I just get into the moment, start becoming aware of what's happening, and talk about it. Thankfully, I didn't even have to say anything to my partner. He immediately commented on the song being on as we left because he obviously knew that it was a trigger for me. I don't remember telling him that about that song specifically, but he's known me long enough to know what sorts of things do trigger me, and I wouldn't be surprised if I had told him through another part before. So, yeah, we got home, and when we got home, we suddenly found ourselves triggered before we even walked in the door to turn around and to go to a park and to meet someone. I don't know who. I got a flash of an image of a man, some characteristics, and an image of a certain type of car, and of the park I was supposed to go to. I turned around and started walking, like down the hall, but I barely got a few feet before my partner said something that kind of brought me into my body and inadvertently triggered a switch that enabled me to come back and not go anywhere. But one good thing about it was, even if my partner wasn't there to do that and to help me, I think that I still might not have gone wouldn't have gone because the urge to go was very weak. I could feel in my body the program pushing me to go, like this energy current, like someone was actually like physically pushing me, and it was very weak, much weaker than it's been in the past when I've been activated and co-conscious and felt my body being pushed with some serious force to go places. And in this case, I didn't even feel like there was too much force pushing me the other way, like from alters trying to take over and take me back, as much as there just wasn't that many parts that had been activated that were trying to get me to go anywhere. And so that was really, really positive. That makes me feel really good about the situation. Not that I feel great about it, but that very few parts of me were actually activated to take me there. So I know I'm talking fast because I'm triggered. I just wanted to make this video and share about what just happened and share about what I'm doing to deal with it. I ended up switching states a lot into younger parts and talking extensively about stuff that has been on my mind. I talked a lot to my partner about accessing and boundaries, and it was actually really good stuff. I found myself getting really self-conscious, feeling like I was talking too much. I have a program that comes up that tells me I'm talking too much and I need to stop talking. And that's a difficult one to deal with. But I've actually made a lot of progress with that. I should definitely make a video on that at some point soon. I also texted a friend who's also a survivor and told him about what was going on. So I feel like I am taking care of it as best I can. Also, something positive I was able to do to cope and kind of come out of it was do some light yoga. One of the poses actually triggered me more, and so even though it did ultimately help, that didn't. And that's another thing I'd like to make a video on, especially when I learn more yoga and more poses, is how to do yoga as a mind control survivor effectively, as a grounding tool, as a spiritual tool, and yet avoid certain poses that may be triggering. And it's going to be different for everyone. And so I think that's important, is really noticing, for us, really noticing when we do yoga what poses activate us. Almost every yoga pose has been mirrored in some kind of trauma of ours. Anything involving us putting our head like upside down, like downward dog, that's what triggered us this time. Anything that gets the blood rushing to our head will trigger us. Traumas of having been upside down. There are stress positions that yoga poses mirror that, of course, when done in a flow for a short time isn't going to hurt, but when held up for hours is a form of torture. So that's just something we want to talk about more as we get more into that. But yeah, anything we can do to bring ourselves into our body. Squeezing our fists really helps. Kind of get the blood pumping through our system. That's something we've learned to do to calm down. And feeling our feet on the ground. And then beyond that, of course, going inside the system and actually finding out who all got activated, what's happening, and how to trigger a switch into alters who are more stable, who can make sure that no accessing comes out of what got triggered. Lastly, I just want to say, I don't know if I said this so far. Sorry to trip on my words. I don't know if I said this so far, but the panic of becoming activated and thinking that I'm being accessed can be debilitating. When I realize that a program's been activated and I'm at risk, having a panic attack is probably the least helpful thing that I can do, second to just going fully into the program in trance and doing what it says. Whatever I can do to get grounded and be calm is important. And sorry for the sound of the train. It always seems to go off when I make videos. Yeah. Making myself safe for my child alters. I made a video preventing reaccessing, identifying and working with easily accessible child alters. And I'm going to put a link to that in the description, because all those tools in there, those are things we're using right now, and those are things that help. I might have said that's the last thing I'm going to say, but now I'm going to switch and say one more thing. In addition to calming fear, is alleviating shame. The shame of being accessed can be debilitating for me, and I know it is for many other survivors too. Shame is a huge way, in addition to fear, that people are controlled. And I would venture to say that fear of shame might be the biggest thing. So for me, it's all about comforting my child alters and telling them that if they are dependent on abusers we don't know about, we are not going to hurt them if they tell us. That we are not going to get angry at them if they show us that they're being accessed, if they show us that they are going to abusers and reporting, quote unquote, submitting to abuse, and I say quote unquote because they're children, so they can't consent, they can't really make these choices, but if they are exercising the most power of choice they have to go and see abusers, we have to make our inner world safe for them. We have to make it safe for them to tell us. And we have to reassure them. And so what we do is we let these parts know, when you're ready, you can tell us. We're not going to hurt you. It's not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong. We just need you to do things differently. Because to them, when we say they've done something wrong, they take that word differently than it means. They take that as shame to mean that they are wrong. And so what we do is we don't make it a moral issue. We don't tell them that there's a moral right and wrong, and that the morally correct thing to do would be to not go to the abusers, and the morally wrong thing to do would be to go to them. We instead tell them that we know they're doing the best they can, it's okay, we just need them to do something a little bit differently. And next time they're feeling anxious or lonely or scared, they need to come to us, or they need to come to our partner, but preferably us first, and talk about it. Talk about it with people who are safe. Okay, that's all I've got for this video. I can imagine this could be really triggering for some people, so if you watched this and felt triggered, I'm sorry, and I hope that something I've said in this video has helped you and can help you come out of your own triggers. Thank you.